Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. I'm Nick Park, and I'm taking us through a series of teachings looking at Jesus in all the books of the Old Testament. And hopefully this is something that's going to help us understand Jesus better and understand the Old Testament better. And today we've reached the book of Proverbs. Now, the book of Proverbs is a collection of wisdom, mainly from Solomon, but not just Solomon. For example, in Proverbs chapter 30, we're told some of it is from Agur. And in Proverbs 31, King Lemuel. Nobody's quite sure who King Lemuel was. Was this like a nickname for one of the kings of Judah or Israel, possibly Solomon or Hezekiah? We don't actually know. But here we understand it. Proverbs 1:6 says that Proverbs is understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. And so Proverbs is not just Proverbs. It's actually all wisdom teaching, whether it's proverbs, sayings, parables, and riddles. And here, of course, the use of parables by Jesus comes under the same class of literature wisdom as Proverbs. In fact, the parables of Jesus are like the New Testament equivalent of the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament. And whenever Jesus used his parables, people recognized that this was wisdom that was coming to them. That's why when he spoke in the synagogue, they said, "Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers?" And when you stop to think about it for a moment, that's amazing that the miraculous powers, people say, wow, where's that coming from? But his wisdom was just as amazing, and they put the wisdom and the miraculous powers on the same level when they said, where does this man get this stuff from? Now, not only was Jesus a wisdom teacher, but his followers were wisdom teachers as well. In Luke 21, verses 14 and 15, he says, when he was telling his disciples that they would stand and testify in front of rulers and authorities, "But make up your minds not to worry beforehand how you will defend yourselves, for I will give you words and wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to resist or stand." And so what Jesus was saying was, as he was a wisdom teacher, his disciples were also to be wisdom teachers. I'll be honest with you, this is one of the reasons why I get so fed up whenever Christians act foolishly. Whenever Christians see something on social media or an email and start spreading it as if it were true without even checking to see if it's true. And I'm saying, we're supposed to be the wisest people in the world. Why on earth would we act so foolishly and gullibly? Now, Stephen exceeded the scribes and Pharisees in wisdom. Now, he was not originally seen as a great preacher. He was chosen as one of the deacons, but he was chosen. The deacons had to be full of faith and of wisdom. And Stephen was chosen, and he showed that wisdom whenever he debated with the scribes and the Pharisees and absolutely confounded them. But, Stephen had more wisdom than Solomon, because Solomon ended up shipwrecking his faith through stupidity, through marrying many women, including heathen women, and then allowing idolatry to keep them happy. Stephen remained true and faithful to the very end. And we're told actually in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 that the foolishness of God is wiser than the wisdom of this world. Now, God himself is not foolish, but some of his followers are. And I sometimes do get frustrated, as I've said, when Christians act and talk foolishly. But nevertheless, the most foolish Christian is wiser than the wisest non-Christian philosopher, because they have at least got the most important thing right by making Jesus the Lord of their lives. Whereas a pagan philosopher, an atheist philosopher may have a lot of knowledge, but they haven't even got the most important thing in their lives right. And if you are a Christian and you think, well, you know what, I don't feel like I'm really wise, I don't feel like I'm walking in wisdom, well, the answer is very simple. Because the Bible says in the book of James that if we lack wisdom, we should ask for it. And wisdom is part and parcel of the Christian faith. In fact, the wisdom of Solomon was only a looking forward to the coming of Jesus with his greater wisdom and the wisdom that the followers of Jesus have today. And for this reason, I can see Jesus all over the book of Proverbs. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.